Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Spirit and Soul Podcast. We are beginning to really wind down this manifestation playbook series. And I have to say, this has absolutely been some of my favorite episodes that I've ever recorded because I know that they are just so packed with powerful information for you to be able to really start manifesting in a more profound way in your life. And listen, let me tell you something. This episode today contains a lot of the things that people just don't want to hear about. And I think it's something that's really glossed over when we think about the manifesting that's talked about on social media and in general. And it's glossed over because I'm not sure that people, and even the people that are teaching it, and I'm not saying everybody, there are some absolutely amazing teachers out there that are teaching about manifestation. But then you have like the everyday person that I don't think and they're talking about manifestation and they're like, talking about surrender or letting go, and they have no idea how to do it. And I think that they just gloss over it because they have no idea. I will tell you, a prerequisite for anybody that's going to teach at Spirit and Soul anything about manifestation is, what have you manifested? And for me, if you haven't manifested anything big into your life, you are not hired. You will not be able to teach manifestation here. And the reason is that you had to have mastered manifestation, and you had to have mastered the ideas of and the different aspects of what it is to really manifest something in the biggest way. And part of that is the surrender and the letting go. And this is where most people, like, they really get tripped up, or they just don't know enough about it. And that's why, like, we have, like, I teach about manifestation, Gabby teaches about manifestation, Erica, because they have manifested really big things into their lives, and they've truly mastered an understanding of what it is to do all of these steps. Does it mean that even the three of us, we don't get tripped up ourselves? No, absolutely not. Right? Like, I will get tripped up sometimes in the surrender or in the receiving or whatever it might be. And then thankfully, I have people around me that are like, you're hanging on too tight. You're, like, you really, I think you're sitting in scarcity. You're not looking at it from a higher perspective. Oh my gosh, thank you. Right? Sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it. So to have, like, people to fall back on is such a gift. Like, I never take that for granted, ever. And we do this for each other. But the thing is that we understand it. We see it. We understand it. We get the concepts of it. And we have been able to do that. We've been able to surrender. We've been able to do these things and then call in the really, really big things in our lives, right? Like, Gabby called in the love of her life. She called in her home. She called in the most perfect wedding day, right down to the exact type of breeze that was coming through. Like, I am not joking. You have to hear her story. Erica, this girl won Wheel of Fortune. Enough said. Like, come on now. Like, one Wheel of Fortune. Okay. And she manifested so many other things, love and all this other stuff. But the thing is that they get it, right? So you have to be very cautious with who you're taking information from. Who are you learning from? Because are they doing the thing? I had some people that, over the course of time have, been at Spirit and Soul, and then they were teaching other things, and then they wanted to teach a manifesting course. And I'm like, what have you manifested? Because you keep coming in here complaining about your life. So, like, to me, you're not manifesting. And I'll say no. And because I just refuse. I'm not going to placate somebody or like worry about somebody's, oh, I got to be careful. I don't want them to feel bad. No, you haven't mastered it. So how can you teach something you haven't mastered? Right. So I just want you to be really cautious about where you're taking information from, because we have to look and make sure that these people have actually manifested big things, and maybe the things that you are kind of looking for in your own life to manifest, right? Because then they've come before you, they know how to do it, and then they can guide you from a place of experience. So I just want to kind of start with that, because this is the part that people don't get the most. And it is, I'm going to say, it's probably one of the hardest parts. And that is the idea of surrendering. And for some people also receiving it. I am not a person that hinders herself from receiving. I can't even imagine to not be able to receive, but there is a worthiness gap when there's a receiving. But I'm going to say the biggest thing of all is releasing the grip on what you want. It's surrendering to it. It is a belief that you know that it's on its way. And when it comes to manifestation, the biggest, and when we talk about surrender, the biggest question that I am asked is, how do I surrender? Because it's very, very easy to say, trust the universe. But what does that mean? Like, you got to just trust the universe. The universe has your back. You have to believe that wholeheartedly, that the universe has your back. You know what I mean? Like, you have to truly believe. You have to get to a place that's like, of course the universe has my back. Of course I'm going to call in all these things. Of course this is going to happen, because I trust in the universe. But there first has to be an area where you get to that you trust, where you can surrender it all to the universe. Surrendering is never about giving up. I know that that's like, oh, it's like the white flag. No, it's not about giving up, right? Like, I surrender. No, it's like truly letting go. It's letting go. And my favorite aspect of surrendering, it's being in love with the idea of your desire. Being in love with it, but not gripping the form of it, right? We talked about form and essence, and we keep touching on it and coming back to it. You have to learn to let go of the grip of the form of the thing. You have to let go of the grip on the timeline. When you think it's supposed to happen, you have to let go of the how. And just be in love with the idea of the desire. It's saying, I'm so in love with this vision that I can enjoy it. I can enjoy the vision. I can enjoy the feeling of it. I can enjoy it even though it's not here, because I know it's on its way. I know that on another timeline, I do already have it. And that is what keeps me going. And that's what makes me understand that I know that it's on its way. And you don't have to really struggle with the need for it. It can just flow, because you're in love with the desire. You're in love with the vision, that you can let go of everything else around it. And I get it. I know that feels like how, and we're going to discuss the how to surrender. And what surrender is really doing, it's holding the vision lightly and loving it deeply. It's saying, yes, this is it. Like, this is what I want. And also, I love it so deeply that I can let it go, because I know that if I'm seeing it, it's meant for me. And I know on another timeline, I already have it. So I'm going to keep the vision of it in my mind, and I'm going to keep seeing it, but I'm also going to let it go. I'm going to let go of the need for it, the grip on it, because it's going to make its way to me how it needs to, and in the best way possible. And if you're squeezing so tightly, it's not going to happen in the best way possible. It's just not. Okay? It's like, how am I the problem here? Like, you're the problem because you're holding on to it so tightly that you can't let the universe come in and work its magic. Attachment. This is attachment. Like, you don't want to be attached to the desire. You don't want to be attached to the thing. Attachment really squeezes the life out of the desire, but the love for it gives it room to breathe. And it just allows the universe to work its magic and flow through it and give you things that are not on your radar yet. That is why you cannot hold tightly, because you just don't know. You can think that you know. It's cute that you think that you know. I'm sorry. It's cute though. It's cute that you think that you know how it's going to come to you exactly. And you think that that's the only way that it can come to you. But the fact is that you don't. Like, I always think of it like this, like, who am I to think that I know better than the universe? No. Who am I to think that I know better than, and you fill in the blank with the words that you like, than God, than source, than the creator, right? Then who are you to think that? You don't. If you have been given a vision, if it is on your heart, then you have to trust it. And if you can't find trust, well, you need to figure out why, right? Go back to the healing episode before this, okay? You need to figure out why, because you have to learn to trust in what's coming to you. You have to have faith in that. And when we grip really hard, and this is why surrender is so important, when we grip really hard, it's signaling fear to our subconscious mind. It's actually lack. So when we're trying to control everything, that is lack. When we're trying to grip so tightly and tell the universe what we want, that is lack. That not tell you what we want, but in the way that it has to come, in the time frame that it has to come. Like, we're giving the universe an ultimatum, honey. No, right? Like, that is signaling fear. It's signaling lack. And then what the subconscious hears, and in the feeling that you're giving it, is, I don't believe this is going to happen unless I control it. And I just want to let you in on a secret, because I know that there are a lot of people who would consider themselves a control freak or understand how much they need to control. I just want to burst your bubble a little bit here, because this is coming from a reformed control freak. Okay. Maybe not a freak, but I loved to control what things are going to look like and the aspect and how I thought that they should go. I used to get crazy over these things. And I'm going to tell you and burst your bubble here. And I hope to God, to universe, to source, I hope that you hear me. Okay. And you start going down a path that starts to shift your perspective on life, because you cannot control a damn thing. There is not one thing that you control except for yourself and how you respond to situations, maybe instead of reacting to situations. There is not one thing that you control. You can try, but what you're doing is just sitting in victim lack mindset when you're controlling everything. And that's just not how we're playing this game here, right? You can't do that. So if you're sitting there wondering where your manifestation is, why isn't it coming? It's probably because you're trying to control it. You're trying to control you. You're trying to control all the things in your life and what this should look like and that should look like. And let go. Let go. Because I cannot stress it enough that your attachment to really what it's coming down to is perfection. Your attachment to perfection. And I don't even try to play me on this, okay? Because if you are oh, but I'm not looking for perfection. Yes, you are. Because if you are trying to control something, you're trying to make it into your version of perfect. And perfection doesn't exist. Your version of perfect might exist, but are you really willing to stretch yourself so thin to get there? Think about weddings, right? If you've ever been married and went through an entire process of planning a wedding, Of course, you're like in your mind, you're like, it's got to be perfect. It's going to be my perfect wedding day, my perfect wedding day. And you hear this all the time. Perfect, perfect, perfect wedding day. And it's like, I had the same vision. I was like, my wedding's got to look like this. And then I have like, my mother who also likes to control and like also likes things to be perfect. And she was getting in the mix of the things too. And we're both like, okay, it's got to be perfect. Okay. It's right. And we're driving ourselves crazy and making sure that everything is perfection. And then the wedding day comes and everything was seemingly great until it wasn't. Like until it was 1 million degrees outside in what was supposed to be a light fall day. It was so hot until the air conditioner in my in the limo of the parent limo, that broke. Okay. And everybody was sweating to death and then had like a 45-minute ride to get to the venue. And then the air conditioner broke in the venue itself while we were dancing, while the dance party was going on. And my mom and dad, they're like flipping out, getting the owner down there, like all these things because they weren't going to fix it. And it was getting warm in there. And guess what? I had no idea of any of those things that they were happening. None. I just thought it was warm in there because we were dancing up a storm and having the time of our lives. Was it perfect? No. But it was. Did it go by any of our standards? Was it perfect? Like in certain ways? No. Also the catering hall didn't serve some of the food that we had requested. They served it differently. They said it was going to be like one way and then it was another way. Did it actually take away from anything? No, it was still one of the best days of my life to marry the love of my life, Andrew, right? Like, actually, I wonder if this episode is going to come out like on our anniversary as I'm talking about this. It's probably going to be right around that time. But like, that was one of the best days of my life. And yet, would it be considered perfect? No. But it was. It was under the universe's plan, right? That air conditioner could have stayed broken and it would not have ruined our day. So this is how I want you to like kind of take this and like understand that there's no perfect and you can still love the outcome, right? Like I want you to think about it because we all have that where we have had an idea of what something should look like, be like, and then it is different. And we know that it's different. We're very aware that it's different. And it doesn't take away from how amazing it was. It does not take away. In fact, it actually made it better. Or on the other side of that was something better that you couldn't really have imagined. And that's what I want you to start wrapping your mind around is like, you don't know. And I know that that's hard to hear, but you don't. You don't know what's best for you. You don't know because the universe knows. Universe, God, source, fill in the blank here because I want you to fill in the blank with the word that is very comfortable for you. To know that your God, your universe, your source energy, that's the energy that knows. And that's the energy that's going to never steer you wrong. You know who else knows or what else knows? Your soul. Why? Because your soul is deeply, utterly connected and created by God, source, universe. And your soul knows the way already. So let it guide you. When you're controlling, that's not soulful. That is not the soul. That's the mind. That's the ego. So you have to learn to drop out of the mind, out of the control, out of the attachment, and start to let your soul lead the way. Start to let the universe lead the way. Because the more you observe and obsess, the more you freeze the energy of it's not here yet. You're freezing it into existence. You're saying it's not here, not here, not here. But when you're in that quantum energetic field, Okay. When you're sitting in this manifesting energy, what you're putting out into the quantum field is that the surrender aspect, it lets the field begin to reorganize however it needs to reorganize in order to bring to you what you desire. So control is screaming lack, and surrender, it's whispering faith. The more that you chase, the more you tell life that it's running away. The thing is running away from you because you're chasing it. I don't chase, I attract. To attract is to be in a state of surrender with a magnet turned on. Your inner magnet turned on to what you want, what you desire. And that magnet is intensified by everything that we've discussed in all of these episodes. It's turned on and really like volume turned up on the magnet when you're raising your vibration, when you're embodying the things that you want, when you are healing and letting go, like letting go of old stories. And then that makes you vibrate even higher. And then you can sit back and surrender. And then that magnet's like, oh, we are turned on. Let's go. We're bringing it in. Right. And that is true surrender right there. So people get stuck because they think that surrender is that they're like, they don't care about it. Okay. Like, no. It's not that you don't care. It's that you understand it's already on its way. They confuse like letting go with also like lowering the desire. Like they think like, oh, do I have to keep thinking about it? Yes. From a place of abundance, from a place of, I know it's already here, from a place of, I'm already living the life that has this thing even in it. Even if your 3D reality doesn't show it yet, you better show up as that version that has it. Okay. So we're never dropping the desire for our things, the things that we want. We are always letting go in belief, letting go in faith, knowing that the universe will bring it to us. But yes, you have to have your finger on it. You have to keep telling the universe what you want, but you're going to keep telling the universe and emitting this frequency of what you want by being in the energy of it, by feeling as if you already have it, right? The law of assumption. We're calling in those things by assuming that it's actually already here. Okay. So here's the true deep truth about surrendering. Okay. The deep truth about surrender is that surrender is truly, again, I'm going to repeat this because it's so important. It's falling in love with the idea of your desire. Falling in love with the idea of your desire and not attaching to its delivery. So we're not getting attached to how it's coming, when it's coming, but we understand that we're so in love with the energy of it, that we already feel it and see that it's here. So another deep truth about surrender is that you can hold on to the vision. Like I was just saying, hold on to it, have your finger on the pulse of it, but also release the timeline to it. And this is where we lose people. This is where manifesting loses people. This is where the thing takes really, really long to come to you because you keep asking, where is it? It's like watching a pot of water boil, right? Like I think that there's like a saying around that, right? Like a watched pot never boils, a watched clock never ticks or something like that. Like this is truth. Like when you are just waiting and waiting and waiting, you don't have faith that it's going to boil. Honey, do something else. Like, I get it. You're hungry. Like, do something else. Keep living into the energy that the pot is going to boil. Get all the other pieces ready. Do the work to get there. Grab the pasta. Open the box, right? Like, start doing the other things that are aligned with what happens when the freaking pot boils. You know what I mean? Like, the timeline exists already. Find faith in it. And if you can't find faith in it, then you have a subconscious program around, like completely around not trusting others, maybe not trusting yourself. And I'm just going to say, this is so common. It is so common, but you have to understand where it comes from. You can't just say, oh, everybody feels like that. Oh, everybody, it is really hard to trust. If you say it's hard, it's going to be hard, right? So you really have to sit and figure out, where does this come from? I don't care if the whole world has trust issues. You don't have to have them. Where does it come from? Understand it. Reprogram what it is to let go of control. Reprogram what it is to trust, to have faith. Understand that maybe when you were a kid, your parents said that they were going to do something and then they didn't do it. And then they did that over and over again. And then now you have issues with the universe delivering to you because your parents didn't deliver. The universe is not your 3D parent who has faults, who's living in this 3D world, who is doing their best, but maybe just couldn't get it done because of time or money or whatever it is, their own limitations. It doesn't mean that they didn't want to give it to you, right? So start to let that go. And now start to see that the universe actually doesn't have time constraints. The universe doesn't have money constraints and can give you whatever you want, whenever it's right, whenever it's aligned with you, whenever you could actually receive the thing and have the thing. Because sometimes these things come into our field and you can't hang on to it. And that's another thing that we're going to get into. But I need you to understand here the idea of almost like opening up your palms to the universe versus clenching the fists, right? If you open up your palms, one of them is allowing to receive. It's surrendered. It's like not trying too hard. It's just open. And then the other one is clenching it so tight. It's clenching it tight because it thinks that it's got to come in a certain way and it's asking how and why. But imagine what it is to just take a big breath in, out, and just let it all go. That is surrender. When you let that exhale go and then the body starts to let go, that right there is surrender. That right there is surrender. It's letting go of the timeline. It's letting go of the need and just knowing. I had one of our, oh my God, she's the best client, customer that comes into Spirit and Soul. And we always joke around all the time. And every time she comes in and she's like coming in for, like a reading or a healing or just so she's there for a class and we chat afterwards. She's always like, Tiffany, what do I do? What do I do? And then she'll look at me and say, don't say surrender. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the answer. No, but that's it. And she's like, but how? And I'm like, I keep telling you how. You just don't want to do it. But then every time she does, she gets what she wants. And she's like, all right, I surrendered. She'll come in and tell us she got what she wants. But so that you are the one, you're the problem, but you're also the solution. So let's go. Right? Understand that surrender is truly letting life express through you and you're not trying to manipulate it. Okay? Surrendering is letting life express itself, letting the universe express itself through you and not trying to control how it gets expressed, just going along for the ride. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good to know that the universe is the one that's really driving the car here? And you're just the one behind the wheel and the universe is like, let's go. Come on now. All right. Foot on the gas. All right, go. Okay. You know what? Foot on the brake. You need to rest, right? It's the universe. And if you can allow yourself to be guided, you will be guided in the most beautiful cadence of what it is to open up, to surrender, and then open up to receive. So when you start to allow yourself to receive, and I really want to talk about this, receiving is about worthiness. It's very much tied to worthiness. So when you don't feel worthy of, even if you want it, right? Like you're putting it out there, you want it, maybe you're doing the work for it, and maybe it's like finally here. And now it's finally here. And then you can't allow yourself to hold on to it. You start to self-sabotage. You start to say, oh, I don't know. I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if that's for me, if it's going to work out, right? Like, I don't know if I can do this. And you start to let fear start to get in the way here. Okay. And this is the ego. I want you to know this is the ego talking. And I go through this myself. Okay. And especially with like big things that come up, like I will go through this myself where I'm like, if I have like a speaking engagement or something like that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I really wanted it. And then all of a sudden it's here. And I'm like, well, who am I to be doing this? Right. And that like that background noise will start to kick in. And it's not that I want it there, right? It's just there. So it starts to kick in. And then all of a sudden, and lately, this is what I do. I just say, well, it wouldn't be in my field if it wasn't meant for me. Like it wouldn't be offered to me if I couldn't do it. So I know that I can do it because it's here, right? And I vibrated at the frequency to receive this beautiful invitation. So if I receive the beautiful invitation, that means that I must have been law of attraction. I must have called it in. That means that I also must be worthy of it. That must also mean that I have what it takes to do it. Right. So once I start to talk to myself like that, I'm like, oh yeah, duh. And then I move on with my life. Right. Like I'm not going to still sit in it. I'm not going to still be like, oh, I don't know. Oh, can I do it? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. No. Right. If the universe gave me the opportunity, it's telling me you got this. Go. Right. So that's all that I need. Right. But then I think about these people that like win a jackpot lotto. You know what I mean? Like they get this jackpot and they're like, yeah, so excited. And then a year later, they have not a dime. They're right back to where they started. Why? Because they could not allow themselves to receive it. They received it, but they couldn't hold on to that frequency of it. So they were in the frequency of it. They believed, they surrendered, they manifested it, and then it was here. And then it's like, okay, cool, this is awesome. And then they lost it all because they did stupid things with it, were frivolous with it, right? Gave it all away. That is an example of somebody that is not feeling worthy of receiving it, and they just don't know how to receive. And this is where like how I check myself, I just showed you, like told you about how I check myself, falling back on these really great practices and falling back on this journey that we're on, this spiritual journey, this self-aware journey is going to be the most powerful tool that you have in your tool belt. Because then you can be self-aware enough to catch yourself and then like kind of kick your own ass. You know, like that's what I do with, right? Like I was just telling you, like kick my own ass. Like, okay, yeah, you can feel these limiting beliefs. You can feel this imposter syndrome. Okay, but is that actually true? Because it wouldn't be here. Oh yeah, duh. Got it. Right? Like, okay, awesome. So like, if you don't have those things to fall back on and you're not doing the work, you're not worthy, it's going to be really hard for you to hold on to the things that you want. I also always think about like rock stars and like movie stars that they're like living their best life, like the life that you look at from the outside and you dream of that life. Like maybe if that's for you, right? Like to have that rock star life, to have that, pop star life, to have the whatever football player, like athlete style of life where they're making all this money and they have this notoriety and they're getting all the things that were probably on their list. And then they start doing stupid things to mess it up. Then they start, drinking and driving, or they have a drug addiction, or they have an alcohol addiction. And then they start to go down this path of deep, abuse of themselves. And they start to really self-sabotage everything that they worked for, everything that they got. And I can guarantee you, and I've been saying this for years, that it's because there isn't a worthiness issue here. So if you can't feel worthy enough to receive the things, you will not hang on to it and you will sabotage the shit out of it. Okay? Like you will self-sabotage every single thing. So in order for you to receive and allow in and allow it to maintain and stay, understanding your ability to receive and at what level can you receive is going to be really important and powerful. There was a time in my own life where I had a really hard time, and I owned Spirit and Soul already. We were having classes and I did this. I was having a hard time receiving compliments from people. I would like, and not a compliment like you have a nice shirt or nice hair, whatever. It was like, you did this great thing and it changed my life. And that was the compliment that I was having a hard time receiving. And I couldn't really tell you why. And like, I really didn't think anything of it. I'm like, oh no, like, thank you. And then I saw it in action because I had this manifesting group class that I had done. And it was like a 6-week, I think, group. And we like really like dove, or 8-week group. And we dove into manifestation and like all these things. And I asked people to just write a review of the class so that I can market it again. And when all of them came through, I could not read one of those emails. I couldn't bring myself to do it because I knew what transpired, that people were manifesting amazing things and things were coming to them and happening for them. And like they were in deep gratitude for what they had learned in the class and for me. And I couldn't read these emails. And finally, Andrew, my husband, he sat down with me and he goes, we're going to read these and I'm going to read them to you. Okay. And he sat there and he read every single one to me and I bawled my eyes out. And I'm like, okay, I had to talk to Christina, who is one of my best friends and just my mentor in so many ways. And I had to talk to her. I'm like, what is this? Like, why can't I do this? Why can't I receive this? And she goes, because you don't feel worthy of it. And I was like, well, I do. She's like, in your mind, maybe, like, you did the work, but like in your heart. And so now, like, really a crystal that really helped me with worthiness is pink tourmaline. I talk about it all the time. I always make sure that we have it at the shop because it is a beautiful heart opening energy that helps you to receive. And you have to be able to receive in order to manifest, because what is the good of manifesting something if you can't receive it, if you can't hold on to it? Okay. So please understand that energy cannot enter through clenched fists, only through open hands that are open and ready to receive. And an open palm is a surrendered energy. Okay. So let's talk quickly about practical tactics for surrender. Okay. Number one is the palm, like I was saying. So sitting there, like I want you to clench your fists and feel the difference of the energy. And I want you to say, this is attachment. And like, I want you to understand it physically. I want you to understand it emotionally, mentally. Like, this is attachment. And then I want you to open up your palms. Take a really big, deep breath in. Exhale and let the whole body go. And then just say, this is surrender. And I want you to repeat that a few times until your body actually feels the difference. That will be a physical cue of surrender. And this is a really powerful exercise. Now, another way that you can practice surrender is through like micro surrenders throughout the day. So what I want you to do is start practicing letting go in small ways, like maybe not checking your phone immediately, like when the ding goes off and you don't check it right away, because you know that that's an interruption of your day, right? So it's an interruption maybe of what you're doing. Maybe it's interrupting your family time. Maybe it's interrupting your focus time. And I want you to let go and surrender to that. You don't need to know right away. Okay. Another thing that you can surrender to is letting someone else choose dinner. So it's like, you choose. I have no idea. I don't care. Right. And maybe like you do care, but for today, you're not going to care. All right. You're going to let that go and let somebody else do that. And then what I want you to do is like really allow yourself to be in these micro surrenders. So maybe the kids were driving you nuts and they didn't do something that you wanted them to do. Let go. Let that one go for that day. Of course, you have to teach them and all those things, but today you don't. Today, I want you to feel what it feels like to surrender to it and just pick it up and do it yourself, or let it go to the next day. And I know that that might feel like, oh, but no, just for today. And you can keep practicing these things every day until it feels good to surrender and until you know what battles you should be picking as well. Is it worth it? Yes, no. Right? That's what I want you to start to do. This is really training your nervous system that truly not controlling things in your life actually does equal safety. Like you were fine, right? So the other thing that I want you to do is visualize your desire as if it's already here. So I want you to visualize it. And instead of like craving it, right? Instead of being like, oh, I really want that. I want. What I want you to do is sit with the idea of it as if you're like looking at it as like a beautiful art piece, like hanging in a gallery. And I want you to look at it and I want you to admire it. I want you to feel what it feels like to have it. And then I want you to just let it go, walk away from it and leave it there and leave it hanging on that gallery. So you're not demanding the delivery. You're not saying, when is it coming? Where is it? What timeline is it on? But you're just admiring the beauty of it and saying, I love being in this energy. I'm excited to be in this energy. In fact, I'm already living in this energy. And you walk away from the painting, okay? But you can actually walk away from the painting and write, almost like right into it, if that makes sense, right into the energy of it as you walk away. So this right here is one of the most powerful things that you can do in manifesting. It will be the one that's going to take some practice. You're going to have to breathe into it, and then you're going to have to let it go, because once you start to do that, then all of a sudden everything will start to flow so much more easily. I promise you. Okay? And like, I actually can't wait to hear from you on these things. Like, once I actually surrendered is when it actually started coming to me. And like, all of a sudden I got my things and it was like, happened so fast because you let go. Like, I can't wait to hear all of these things. So make sure that you are tagging us at Spirit and Soul Studio on Instagram with your stories, or just DM us. You can also DM me or tag me at I'm Tiffany Cohen on Instagram. I just love to hear your manifesting stories, how these tips have helped to shape and change your life. And I'm going to ask, as I do, if this episode and if this series is serving you really, really well, please share it on your Instagram stories. Like, a lot of you guys are doing that and I'm resharing it. Share it on your Instagram stories. Like, tell your friends about what you are learning on this podcast and in this series. It makes a big difference, and you just might change somebody else's life. So thank you for joining us on this, joining me on this episode of the Spirit and Soul podcast. And I will see you on the next episode, which is going to be, I'm pretty sure it's the last episode in this manifesting series. So I'll see you there.